Greetings and salutations one and all. Welcome to the end of the night shift week. How you doing? I want to say big ups to each and everyone locked in right now. Those on TuneIn Radio, the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Those locked in on PEMG TV. Those on all the affiliate stations. And of course, right here at the home of the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, kevinstew.com. Glad to have you. I couldn't do it without you. You have my word, I wouldn't even try. The track is called Don't Let Go. The son of Chuck Gordon. Don't let go, no matter what, don't let go. Hold me. I want to say big ups to my sponsor for this segment of the show. When being in the moment is priceless, you want to give them a call, 754-999-6020. It's Pulse Media Group for innovative streaming and recording solutions. When being in the moment is priceless, these are the people you want to be in contact with. You can also check them out on pulsemg.com and see all the services they offer. Of course, everything that you see right here on kevinstew.com, you can have yourself. And you can take it a step further if you want to do your own internet TV station. They got the hookup for you. So give them a call. You have the numbers 754-999-6020. You have the website pulseemg.com. It's Real Talk Wednesday. I want to say greetings and salutations to those tuning in on Facebook Live. Welcome to those visitors. It's Real Talk Wednesday, like I said before. It's what we also know as Marlon's favorite night shift show. Marlon Burrell is the host of Real Rockers. Happens every Monday and Wednesday, 7 to 10, on several platforms. Alright, so I was having a little bit of a dialogue with a friend of mine. And she shared with me an article. And I was like, yeah. It's the kind of article that causes problems in people's lives. And it was looking at the cost of getting married. You know, what does it really cost you? And it's not from the perspective of what is the financial cost, but it was asking the question, what do you lose when you gain a spouse? Which really turns things over on its head. Because as far as everyone knows, you're getting into the whole getting married thing, and it's all out of this abundance of love that you can't get enough of. So the only thing left for you to do is to get married because you have found your lost rib. You know, you found the person that completes you. And you hear all of these descriptions. So what happens when you realize that you're a whole person before all that happens? Do you actually lose something when you get married? So the question really is, why marry? And we're gonna take a little bit of a journey and touch on a few different areas. I found, and there are a few sites that I like to go when I'm doing my research. You know, for health, I like to go over to Mercola.com, and then I'll look other places to look for other information that may either oppose or support what I have found. Because I like to give more than one angle, you know. But at the same time, it's not for me to give you everything. My job is to stimulate your appetite, not to satisfy your hunger. So I give you just enough that you can ask another question. But I do it in such little time that you don't get to ask me the question. No, you have to go and find an answer for yourself. It's not that I'm mean. It's not that I don't want to talk to you. I really do. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and put up the number right now. So you can see it. Those of you watching, those of you listening in, it's 773-789-STEW. 773-789-7839. You can call, you can text, you can WhatsApp. You can, of course, jump into the stew pot. Others call it a chat room. We're fancy over here. It's a stew pot on kevinstew.com. All you have to do is go to kevinstew.com. Nothing more. If you want to change your name so I can address you by name, you can do that. Just hit the little customize cog and boom, you can change your name. Outside of that, that's all you have to do. And it's a judgment-free zone. So your opinions are welcome. We do encourage you to share. If you're overseas and going to kevinstew.com is not something that you can do right now. You can't hit me up on WhatsApp or by text, Skype, kevin.stew. So if you want to call, if you want to text, you have several ways to do it. No excuses. All right. So Martin Nemko has a PhD and wrote an article on Psychology Today. And it is pretty much titled the same thing that my show is titled today. Why marry? And I titled my show before I found his article. So I only thought, well, since they share the same title, let me go ahead and present this information along with my personal views. Now, the views expressed by DJ Kevin Stew are the views of DJ Kevin Stew. Mine and mine alone. If you want to agree with me, fine. If you want to not agree with me, fine. It doesn't mean that our relationship ends. So, there are very few decisions that are made that are greater or hold greater importance than whether or not to marry. There was an article that focused on the decision of whether to marry a particular person before. This information focuses on the institution of marriage. And this information is 3 years old? And it weighs that information against changing norms. So, given today's realities, looking at marriage and compare that with a relationship that is not legally and perhaps religiously tied, how do they compare? All right, let's go in first looking at economics. Now, countless companies merge because it yields economies of scale. And that is also a justification for marriage. Even in an era which both sexes have significant economic viability. Now, on the other hand, if you're not in the 50% of married couples who stay together for life, the decision to marry obligates each of you to pay for each other and any offspring for years after the dissolution. So the question is, looking at that, do you think the economic benefits of marriage outweigh the liabilities? So you have joining of finances on one hand, legally, and if that union breaks down, if that partnership has to be dissolved, then some money is going to have to keep exchanging hands between the two partners, now ex-partners. So that's economics. Then you have monogamy, which in and of itself is pretty interesting. Marriage encourages monogamy, or so it is believed. People are more likely to remain sexually faithful because they're aware that sex outside of marriage increases the risk of divorce, and it's concomitant financial, temporal, and emotional costs. Now, monogamy yields other benefits. It can deepen the relationship and it It decreases the risk of sexually transmitted diseases, false paternity claims, unwanted pregnancies, even in what is considered a more sexually permissive society. Many people feel that monogamous benefits outweigh the precluding fresh sexual partners. However, that doesn't work for everybody. Does that work for you? Because one of the things that we have realized over the years, we didn't discover it, realized it, is that marriage doesn't prevent either of the couples from seeking out other relationships. It doesn't prevent the man, it doesn't prevent the woman. And so you have marriages where partners are unfaithful or do have other partners. You know, that people open up their marriages. We can talk about that a little bit later on. And you have people who are in long-term relationships that are not married, that do this, that have the opposite. They don't have anybody else. It's just them. So it leads me to ask the question, is it marriage that keeps that couple together with just each other? Or is it an agreement which they both have made? Either way, the two situations come by way of an agreement. Because in marriage, you sign a contract. What is to prevent two people in a relationship that it's not a marriage to draft up a contract? What prevents it? Absolutely nothing. So now you have to ask the other question. Okay, how is it that so much emphasis is placed on marriage when you can do the same thing with any other relationship? Moving on. There is the risk of a spouse changing after the wedding. Now, that risk is really one of those that I am sure many people have in the back of their minds, and less than half of them would say anything about it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all have the ways to do it. 773-789-STEW or the Stew Pot. Every marrying couple vows to stay together in sickness, in health, for richer, for poorer. Unless you write some other types of vows and don't use those words. But essentially, that's how the storybook is written, right? The happily ever after. Yet, many of us know at least one couple in which one spouse develops a serious disease and the other one says, I can't deal with this anymore. Deuces, I'm out. Even more of us know people who leave their spouse and they stop bringing in, when they stop bringing in the big paycheck. Some of us knows where after the wedding, one of them change. And this could be a physical change where one partner gains some weight. Well, I've heard where couples have said, that's not what I signed up for. And you're breaching the contract, so I'm out. Others where they've gone in different directions. One partner decides to go on a career path and climbing the corporate ladder, the career ladder, you know, making something, so to speak, of themselves on a career level. And the other one decides, hey, listen, there's this new designer drug that I'm going to try this week because the last designer drug kind of just so. But this one I hear is kind of wicked. So I'm going to try this drug this week and just veg out on the couch. Yeah, that would be reason to split. But whatever happened to the for richer, for poorer, for better, for worse? So when you assess the risk of as acceptable that a spouse might change after getting married, is that okay for you? Is that reason to get married? Then you have children. And when it comes to stability, it's what most people look for to give to their children. And the legal and sometimes religious parameters of marriage really help to encourage that stability. Now, when you have a fighting married couple that stay together only for the children, or to avoid the pain that divorce would probably cause, is that good for the children? I haven't come across anybody that would say, yeah, this is good for the children because they're going to see us here fighting every day and not learning how to resolve issues. Perfect. That's just what our children need. So, the previous decades' stigma of being a single parent or coming from a broken home, that's kind of gone away. That's faded. And along with that, now comes along the whole idea that, if one wants children, marriage is required. But we are now learning that that's not the case. We've seen it more, and we've come to accept it even more. You have single people that are adopting children. That's a single parent home. You have the individual that, God forbid, the person that they were planning to marry dies. That is now a single parent home. At least it is not the whole we can't get along, so now let's call this quits, or we're staying in this and fighting every day in front of these children and not giving them a stable, healthy home to live in, psychologically healthy. So why marry? Despite our social norms that are changing dramatically, there is a majority of people that still aspire to get married in light of any of the things that I mentioned just now. Where do you fall in that whole spectrum? The giving the children that stability. Do you need to be married for that? The economic benefits. Do you need to be married for that? Monogamy. Do you need to be married for that? All my life, I have seen where couples married and not married have had very happy lives. And I've seen the opposite. Couples married and couples not married have very miserable life. what is the difference? So the question remains, why marry? And if you do decide to marry, are there things that you can do to make it work? Well, I would assume that there are. The question is, are you willing to do them? Because that's the other side. When you go ahead and do the married thing, are you willing to put in the work? But before you go there, what about those that have looked into this marriage a little bit deeper, and after a few years in it, they look back and said, boy, I was expecting something else, but I have really lost a lot. Now you're thinking, wait, you're gonna lose something getting married? I thought when you got married, you gained everything. So, is it that you got married to gain something, or is it that you got married and gained something? But the strange but true situation is that a lot is lost sometimes when you get married. So, what is the cost of marriage? And we're going to look at some of those costs when we come back from this break. As we take the break, you go ahead and you think up what it is that you would consider to be costly. And this is outside of the financial cost of marriage. What do you think one could sacrifice in getting married? Yeah, I use that word. Because whenever you gain something, you lose something else. You can't just keep gaining and gaining and gaining. To maintain balance, you have to lose something over here to gain something over here. When you're doing math, the equation is what happens on one side of the equation happens on the other side of the equation. The opposite, though. So, if you're going to be solving for y, and you add 2 on the left side of the equation, you need to go over to the right side of the equation, of the equal sign, and subtract 2. That's how it go? Yeah? So, we're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we look at some of the costs of getting married. We're trying to get to the point where we figure out why marry. Not to say that you shouldn't. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just asking the question, why should you? We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Pulse Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulse Media Group.
Hi, my name is Andrew Smallin, and I'm running to be the next sheriff of Broward County, Florida. I was born in Jonestown, Jamaica, and immigrated to the United States when I was 8 years old. Following in my father's footsteps, who served as a soldier in the Vietnam War, I served as an officer in the United States Marine Corps during Operation Desert Shield and helped keep America safe. You see, all my life I have kept people safe by serving as a Broward Sheriff's deputy, a school resource officer, and the chief of police of Lauderhill, Florida. As an associate dean of criminal justice, I am helping to teach the next generation of law enforcers how to keep their communities safe.
I am David Muir.
And we are the co-founders of a cultural nonprofit in Florida called Island Space.
For many reasons, now more than ever, we need the support of our communities.
As Caribbean Americans, we have the unique ability to claim everyone from the island as members of our Caribbean American family.
We are working to create a home for that family.
The Island Archives will become an internationally recognized museum of history.
Visitors can learn that although we are unique, we are truly stronger together.
Learn more at islandspacefl.org.
It takes an entire village to raise a child. Hello, I'm Paul Campbell, here to talk about Palace. Peace and Love Academic Scholarship. This nonprofit group supports students facing serious obstacles from entering or continuing their studies, not because the grades are failing, but due to the lack of financial support.
Over the past 8 years, Palace has awarded 600 scholarships valued at approximately 50.3 million Jamaican dollars, or 415,000 US dollars.
Together, we must build a better future for our children. Please visit www.palace1.org and make your donation to brighten the future of a deserving child. Palace, preserving young minds for posterity.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is working to help keep you and your community safe from the threat of novel or new coronavirus. Take the following everyday steps to help avoid the spread of all respiratory viruses. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue. Throw the tissue away and then wash your hands. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects or surfaces, such as remote controls and doorknobs. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. And stay home if you are sick. Call your healthcare provider if you develop fever, cough, or difficulty breathing. For more tips, visit cdc.gov.
Hey yo, this is Caramanti letting you know that right about now you are logged on to DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift. Don't move.
Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind, and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com. Your links to worship and praise.
Send roses by bottles of champagne. Your favorite, I'm great at keeping a promise. Wrote letters, 10 pages to tell ya I'm in it, I wanna stay. And I'll show you in every way. You're skeptical still, well, I'm loving on you. And I'm super confused how my actions don't convince you. You're skeptical still, so I'll remind you. If I loved you, take out, stop binging on old films. Get dressed up, we go out. It's hard to make a choice. We're both indecisive. All I know, I'm in it, I wanna stay. And I'll show you in every way. You're skeptical still. Well, I'm loving on you. And I'm super confused how my actions don't convince you. You're skeptical still. So I'll remind you, you're not alone. If I loved you, you know you couldn't mistake it if you tried. If I loved you, you know you'd see it even if you're blind. It's bigger than the world, deeper than the ocean, harder than the sun. Know it when you're alone. So if I love you, you know. I never told you I love you, I do. I never told you. I never told you I love you, I do. I never told you.
The sound of Royce.
Easy to say,
It's called If I Love You.
harder to show you what I mean. So you just gotta believe me. You gotta
I want to say thank you to Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands for sponsoring this segment of the show.
if I loved you.
Althea SU is a licensed massage therapist that comes to you, operating out of Broward County, North Miami-Dade, and South Palm Beach counties. She has her table, she has her oils. Outside of paying her, all she asks is that you get off her table when she's done. And if you could, be so kind, make sure to show some proof that you're COVID free.
I never told you I love you, I do. I never told
She doesn't want to be taking anything other than
I never told you,
whatever you pay her home.
do. I never told you.
Give her a call, 954-655-9000.
The harder to show
Or reach out to her by email, thealita@att.net.
you got I know you need me. When I say if I loved you, you know. If I couldn't mistake it if you tried. If I loved you, you know. Baby, you know. See it even if you're blind. It's bigger than the world, deeper than the ocean, deeper than the ocean. Know it when you're alone. So if I love you, you know.
If I loved you, you'd know. So, do I still need to put a ring on it? I love you. I tell you I love you, and you know that I love you based on what I have done and have been doing. Is it that love has to be at a certain level for you to get married? Or if you love, you just have to get married? I got a message earlier. Excuse me. Where I think it is an understanding between the couple regardless of marriage. Actually, you and I share that sentiment. I agree that at the end of the day, it is the agreement of the couple. So where does the marriage thing come in? All right. We said we'd look at the cost of marriage. For starters, the very essence of marriage is considered as two becoming one in unity. And that implies that you will give of yourself to make the sum of all parts greater. Right? It sounds really sweet and mushy. And this is from the Huffington Post. This leads to a push and pull as you negotiate how to make a union work. And it will likely require you to relinquish certain rights and privileges. A prime example is my money now becomes our money. And my plans concerning finances must now include the input and consideration of another person. In all fairness, though, I can't make major decisions alone anymore. I have to check with my spouse and solicit their thoughts. So, what have I given up? A certain level of autonomy. So, you think back after doing something like this and you remember being single and traveling whenever you wanted, spending your money however you wanted, optimizing, the mindset, not optimizing, but moving to that particular mindset doesn't work in a marriage. Because it's no longer just I and me. It's us and we. And so the writer here says, I had to make a paradigm shift to realign my priorities and focus on oneness for a successful relationship. If you plan to retain your complete independence, there will be conflicts in marriage. It's important to realize the price of what you must give up before you enter into the union. So, if you're one who considers themselves independent, how does it work when you get married? What happens to that independence? Now, despite classes, marriage counseling and words of wisdom from tons of well-meaning people, some things you have to learn by experience. On an intellectual level, it is known that marriage would require service to the spouse, right? But sorting through how to make that happen on a practical level, that can be a little bit of a different story. Writer says, as a newlywed, I struggled with balancing my old life with my new role as a wife. I felt overwhelmed and underprepared for those first few months of marriage. Eventually, I realized the true underpinnings of marriage and service and giving of yourself. So, what cost is this? The cost of your agenda. She says, when I was single, I remember my cute little condo that often went uncleaned, was frequently filled with carry-out food boxes and regularly subject to beer cupboards. If I didn't want to cook, I ordered food. If I didn't feel like cleaning, I wouldn't. I was only responsible for myself. So I did what suited me at the moment. This is not even remotely possible anymore. My husband loathes a disorganized house, and his one request of me is that our household shelves are stocked and that food is available. In responding to his needs, I had to rein in my whimsical spirit and make some adjustments in order to make our marriage work. So it cost me my self-focused mentality. So if you plan to hold on to singles mindset with their life, be prepared for friction in your marriage. Again, taking that into consideration, the free spirit, why marry? If you're going to have a partner, ladies, if your husband is going to require that you keep the shelves stocked and that food is available all the time, and that the house is kept spick and span, would you get married if that is not what you feel like doing? Is that one of those deal breakers in the marriage? There's a question for you. What else can it cost? Maybe your selfishness. And that might sound like a good thing, depending on how you view selfishness. She says, I've always been a caring and considerate person, but I've never had to prioritize myself in any position other than first. Now, as a wife and a mother, I am no longer responsible for only caring for myself, but also the needs of my household. My one load of laundry and a single person increased to 4, and my nightly routine is no longer TV surfing and shooting the breeze with friends. It includes dinner, bedtime stories, bath time, checking in with hobby. Then there's a moment that I get for myself. My needs are no longer my singular focus, but it's not about me anymore, but about all the people in my home. If you expect to walk into a marriage and take more than you give, you may be in for a rude awakening. With her taking this perspective of a woman coming in and meeting all these needs, doesn't that kind of paint the picture of the man taking more than he's willing to give? Because she's not saying that he is doing anything like what she is doing, that he's giving up anything like she is. And so, it has to be just from the perspective of this woman. And she says, I wish I could find that woman from the bakery and offer a dose of realism to take the rose-colored glasses off marriage enough to communicate that being married is real work and also sacrifice. It's great and you stand to gain tremendously when you get married, but you should also plan to give, and give substantially. Unrealistic expectations lead to conflict, and unwillingness to bend leads to divorce. Being sober about marriage, though, will compel you to adopt a new normal, to modify selfishness or an overly independent mindset. So the conversation that is overheard may have been completely valid. They might be harder in other ways, marriage, but the costs, they could be high. The question is, are you willing to pay them in full? So she paints the picture showing certain things. D.S. Coleman does. And she's a dating and relationship expert. And so she points out some things. It could cost you your selfishness. It could cost you your own agenda that you used to have. Your independence. The independence part is really interesting, because that wanting to do whatever, whenever. You have some men that would say, I am man. No woman should be telling me what to do, when to do it. And the woman is then saying, but I'm not telling you what to do, and I'm not telling you when or even how you should do it. I'm just asking that you be a little bit considerate. Consider me, your wife. Consider the children. Consider us, your family. Versus just, now, Is that something that is unique to marriages? And if it is not, we come back to the question that the show is all about. Why marry? So earlier in the first segment, we looked at some of the things that some of the benefits, which included, the economic benefit, the having someone there all the time with you, so you're not lonely anymore, the safe from sexually transmitted diseases. Here's the thing. Each and every one of those benefits, single people get to have them too. So why marry? And if my memory serves me correctly, I did a show on the history of marriage. I could be wrong. And if I didn't, I went looking for it. To be honest, I went looking for it and I didn't find it. I did find my happily ever after, and it may have been a part of that happily ever after show. But why would someone want to get married? Those who are married, why did you do it? Those who are divorced, why did you get married? And for you, there's now a second question. Why aren't you still married? What was it that was the deal breaker in that relationship? Is it that you couldn't communicate? Was that something that changed during the course of the marriage? Or was it that from Jump Street you couldn't communicate well, but now that you're in the marriage and you have now become comfortable because whatever it was that attracted you to that person that overshadowed everything else has now gone away? It could have been that that person had a banging body and you just felt great walking beside them. So you could overlook the fact that they couldn't sustain a decent conversation and hold a debate that would not lead to animosity, but is channeled towards understanding and getting a better perspective of an idea, or even learning how the other person thinks. Because here's the thing, not because you get married means that the growth stops. And if the growth is continuing, then something is going to change. So if you got married and all you had in your head is, this is the person that I am going to have for the rest of my life, then you're wrong. And you're going to be in for a rude awakening. This is when you're going to be in for a rude awakening. And this has happened on so many occasions. You hear the stories. This wasn't the person that I married. So somebody came in the middle of the night, 12 years into your relationship, into your marriage, and swapped them out. The aliens came by and beamed your husband up or your wife up and substituted them with this clone. What do you mean when you say this is not the person I married? And was it that they changed or did you change? And if it was you that changed, now you have a different argument. They have not grown. So you end up, it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of a deal. Because on one hand, you have the individual that says, hey, I am coming out of this relationship because this person isn't growing. And on the other hand, you hear another person saying, I'm coming out of this relationship because this is not what I signed up for. This person has changed. So, what is it? I know folks who agreed not to get married and have been together for 30 plus and 40 plus years. They eventually did because of legal reasons. One was immigration related, the other was legalities for common law reasons or common law unions that aren't recognized by law. Okay? So let's address that for a moment. The common law unions where certain things are not recognized by law. Again, I ask the question. If you draft up a contract between these two individuals and that contract is notarized, don't you then have legal standing? If it's a matter of, if something were to happen to me and I end up in the hospital and it is keep me alive on a respirator versus pull the plug and let me go, and they're saying only a spouse can make that decision. If I, in my living will, if I have it in that will that says, hey, this person, my partner, gets to make these decisions, who has the authority to say, no, they can't do that? So the only difference is that there was a marriage certificate with the married couple. That's the only difference. So you don't need that living will for the person who is not married that has a common law. This is what I'm asking when it comes to those legal issues. Whoever put those laws in play anyway? And what was the reason behind it? I've always wanted to do a show looking at some of the laws that are on the books and why they were created. Because a lot of things that we come into contact with in our daily lives as laws and rules were put in place for a particular reason which doesn't exist anymore. And that's how you end up with outdated laws. And there are some ridiculous ones on the books. I think one of them that I had seen at one point was it's illegal to carry an ice cream cone in your pocket on a Sunday afternoon after 2 p.m. or something. Some ridiculous thing like that. And I can't even figure out what it was that would cause someone to write such a law in the first place. Who wants to put ice cream in their pockets? But and I am not lying. It is some ridiculous law to that effect. And it was still on the books. And those who are attorneys and have been attorneys for a long time and have studied the history of laws and the laws of the land, they can tell you that there are some. As a matter of fact, you can look them up yourself, and I'll probably do a show on that. About 2 years ago, I was talking to an attorney and asking if they would be willing to come on and look at some of these things, and I never really did follow up on it. Maybe I need to. Something sparked from this question of why marry. Now, don't get me wrong. After 30 and 40 years, if you decide to get married, does that make it either here or there? What now is that celebration? That is just, again, a legality. Oh, yeah, this person is now my wife. There was a witness to it, and we signed this piece of paper. And it's funny because I can say I am someone's husband, and nothing is done to prove that. I say I am me, and someone asks for my ID. Go figure. Things that we need to justify. I need to prove that I am me, but I don't have to prove that I am someone's spouse. Interesting, isn't it? So again, why marry? The only person that will know that this person that I've been with for the past 15 years is not my legal, lawful, wedded spouse. The only person that would know is the person that we say, no, we never got married. And I'm pretty sure what will follow is, really? I thought you've been married all this time. Okay, what changed? Outside of me revealing that little bit of information, what changed? Absolutely nothing. It's kind of like if the tree falls in the forest and no one is around, does anybody hear it? If I don't tell you, do you really know? And if we're not actually legally signed the dotted line, married, and I say to you, this is my wife. Yeah, she has a different name, but this is my wife. Are you going to say, okay, prove it? Nobody says that. Unless, of course, now you're getting down to the person actually died and you have to claim certain things and now you have to prove. But why marry? We're going to take another break. When we come back, we wrap this up and jump into a little bit of a musical therapy. I need therapy this week. This week has been a rough week. And so musical therapy is much needed. So we're going to come back, do the next segment and wrap that up and go into musical therapy. But until then, we'll be right back.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
A social distancing tip.
While the CDC urges you to avoid close contact, like hugging or shaking hands, there are other non-physical ways to say hello. Wave, wink, use sign language, salute, smile, give the peace sign, throw up an air high five, do jazz hands. Remember, stay a minimum of 6 feet or 2 arms length away from others, and stay home if you can. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.
Today in school I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school, I learned that I'm ugly and useless. And in gym, I learned that I'm pathetic and a joke. In history, I learned that I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick. And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes
In biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid. And in math, I learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today?
The only thing I didn't learn today.
The only thing I didn't learn
is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
It's Christine representing for DJ Kevin. You see me, I say, I don't know the boss. You see me, I say, DJ Kevin Stew and the Night Shift Radio Show. Yo, it at the thing, turn up the thing loud. Whoa, DJ Kevin Stew have the heart of a champion. Never underestimate, just choose him. The silver line behind the dark clouds. DJ Kevin Stew believe him, and that's no doubt. Salute the Night Shift Radio Show, Christine. It's a heart it up. Loud.
EQ with a lovely day. EQ, lovely day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Lovely day, 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 lovely, lovely day. Hey.
When I wake up in the morning, Lord, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, and something without warning, Lord, bears heavy on my mind. Then I look at you, and the world's alright with me. Oh, just one look at you.
Sound of EQ, the Edwards Quartet. The track is called just that, Lovely Day.
Seems impossible to face when someone else instead of me always seems to know the way.
I want to say thanks to Reggae Global Entertainment for sponsoring this segment of the show. Reggae Global Entertainment will take care of your bookings, your tour management, your legal contracts, copyrights, publishing, music productions, legal service referrals, marketing and promotion, and so much more. Give them a call, 954-998-8034, or visit them at reggaeglobalentertainment.com.
When someone else instead of me always seems to know the way, then I look at you,
lovely day indeed. It will be when we come to terms with what we want to do with ourselves. Whether we want to get married or get divorced or live happily singly after. What a lovely day it will be. I know it will be a lovely day when we get a better understanding of this whole thing. Yeah, that would be a lovely day. So, while marriage is often seen as an essential step in a successful life, the Pew Research Center reports that only about half of Americans over the age of 18 are married. This is down from 72% in 1960. Now, of course, 1960 is a bit of a ways ago. But it's down 72%. You'd think it would be up or at least constant, right? One obvious reason for this shift is that on average, people are getting married much later in life than they were just a few decades earlier. In the United States, the median age for the first marriage rose to an all-time high in 2018. 30 for men and age 28 for women. Now, while a majority of Americans expect to marry eventually, 14% of never married adults say they don't plan to marry at all. And another 27% are not sure whether marriage is for them to even begin with. When people bemoan the demise of marriage, these are the kinds of data they often cite. And it is true that marriage is not is not as popular as it was a few generations ago. But Americans still marry more than people in the vast majority of Western countries. Guess what? They also divorce a whole lot more also. Now, there's good reason to believe the institution isn't going anywhere. And, you know, my take on the whole marriage being an institution thing, just like prisons and hospitals. A lot of red tape involved and restrictions. As the sociologist Andrew Cherlin points out, just 2 years after the Supreme Court decision to legalize same-sex marriage in 2015, a full 61% of cohabitating same-sex couples were married. This is an extraordinarily high rate of participation. Cherlin believes that while some of these couples may have married to take advantage of the legal rights and benefits newly available to them, most see marriage as a public marker of their successful union. As Cherlin puts it, in America today, getting married is still the most prestigious way to live your life. So, marriage then is for sure? Is that why people would get married? This prestige can make it particularly difficult, though, to think critically about the whole institution of marriage, especially when coupled with the idea that vows might save you from the existential loneliness of being human. That again, let me pause here. Because a lot of people, when they're asked why they got the whole security, let me finish it. When my friends cite the benefits of marriage, they often point to an intangible sense of belonging and security. Being married just feels different. So, the whole loneliness that comes with being human gets taken away when you're married. I know a lot of married people that one half of the union is saying, you know, I'm lonely. The first time I heard one member of a married couple say that they were lonely, I almost had whiplash. What hit me even harder than that was my partner telling me that she was lonely in our relationship. That's that that was like someone holding you and just shaking you real hard. And these things happen. So the whole idea of marriage alleviating that loneliness, no, it doesn't happen. It's a false sense of security, in my opinion. But who wants to hear my opinion? I'm just a DJ and not a DR, right? In his majority opinion in Obergefell versus Hodges, Justice Anthony Kennedy wrote, Marriage responds to the universal fear that a lonely person might call out only to find no one there. It offers the hope of companionship and understanding and assurance that while both still live, there will be someone to care for the other. This notion that marriage is the best answer to the deep human desire for connection and belonging is really seductive. With the thought of being married, there's a feeling that it's on the toe. And research suggests that whatever its benefits, here it comes, the cost. And Chekhov said, and I found this to be really profound, if you're afraid of loneliness, don't marry. Think about it. Because he really might be onto something. Compared with those who stay single, married folks are actually less likely to visit or call parents and siblings, and less inclined to offer them emotional support or pragmatic help with things such as chores and transportation. They're also less likely to hang out with friends and neighbors. So, who is more lonely? Is it the people who are married or the people who are single who would do these things? A lot of times at the drop of a hat. It's not an issue to them. But now all of a sudden people are married and they're lonely. They don't do the things that they used to do anymore. And it's not uncommon. It's not unusual. Single people are far more connected to the social world. On average, they find more care for their siblings and aging parents. They have more friends. They're more likely to offer help to neighbors. And they're more likely to ask for it in return also. And this is especially true for those who have always been single. So, this now shatters the myth of the spinster cat lady. That's just destroyed, because now that paints a picture of the spinster cat lady as being very happy. Because now she gets to help people the way she wants to. And she can have friends come over whenever. And they would. There isn't the issue of the partner. But does that only happen in marriage? Earlier in the show, I mentioned the whole idea of losing one's autonomy. And that happens because you get married and it's your invitations to events either don't come for just you anymore. So now they come as you and, but that also happens when you get into a relationship. You start dating someone and everybody knows that you're dating this person. Now your invitations become you and this person. So it doesn't only happen in marriages. We know that. But it's more often that it will happen that your invitations won't come as just you. And what is also true is that you'd end up getting less of those invitations because you're no longer that single friend that can hang. Now you're a married friend that can hang, but we're not too sure because now you're married and that changes things, says the single friends. So, are you better off getting married? Or maybe, just maybe, the whole concept of being married needs to be revised. How about the whole... Yeah. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. How about individuals that have a certain idea of how they want to live? How about they discuss that with their partner, married or not? You have a partner, you have this discussion. How about sharing not what you think society wants of you, but what you want for yourself with that person that you're involved with? Whether you're married to them or you're dating them. And how about you do it honestly? Where then would that put you? Would there really be the need for you to be married? And if you are, why? And I'm not saying this to, I'm not asking the question to dissuade anybody from getting married or to encourage anybody to get out of marriage. I'm just asking, why do it? There are some that have argued the point, why buy the whole cow if you can get the milk for free? Well, not everybody was cut out to be farmers. So, not everybody wants to raise livestock. So, maybe you should give them some milk. Because now they're happy. And they get to give you the best of themselves. So you are now happy. Now there's a whole happy environment. Oh, that's not what you want? Cool. Find somebody that wants what you want. But that is fine-tuning and coming down to something even more. My question is still general. Why marry? And you can still reach out to me and give me your answers whenever. The numbers remain the same. 773-789-STEW. That's 773-789-7839. You call, you text, you WhatsApp, you email me at djkevinstew@gmail.com. You go to kevinstew.com and go down to the bottom of the page and the little contact me section. Put your comments in there and I get it into my email. Options, tons of options. So, have we resolved anything? No. It wasn't a show to get a resolve. It was a show to make you ask more questions. And if you came up with something that works for you, great. Let's go with that. Just don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a brother. Let me know. Tell me about it. Yeah? But until we get to talk about it, now I get to chillax and close out the night shift week. Unlike Marlon, I'm not gonna play the King Yellowman. I'm getting married in the morning. Thank you for that, Marlon. It was, I truly appreciate love how you make the starting of my shows on a Monday and a Wednesday that much easier. You really do. You set a tone, and I have the luxury of kind of riding that wave that you have created. And much respect to you, bro. Much respect. Thank you. And to all those others that continue to network with me as I network with them, big ups to you. That's how we grow. We share each other's things. We mention each other, and we grow and we build with that. So thank you. As we move into this final segment of the show, I'll kick it off with a little Suzanne Sultry. Yeah, her rendition of Crazy.
I'm crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy for feeling so blue.
Suzanne Sultry is one of the members of SDS, along with Dottie, Shauna Dazzle.
And then someday you leave me for somebody new.
And you can look out for SDS alongside Ed Robinson on Record Store Day at VP Records on August 29. All being well, from midday until 5. As we take this one from the tippy top, Suzanne Sultry, her rendition of Crazy. Welcome to Musical Therapy.
Crazy, I'm crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy for feeling so blue. I knew you love me as long as you wanted. find you. I'm crazy for trying and crazy for crying, and I'm
You know what?
crazy for loving.
Call me crazy, but I feel like I want to give you 2 Suzanne Sultries. This is Stand By You.
How much do I love you? Let me count the ways I'll stand by you. No matter what the circumstances, I'm gonna take my chances. I'll stand by you. I'm gonna stand by you. I'm gonna stand by you. Good or bad, happy or sad, I'm gonna stand by you. I'm giving you my word, I mean it. My heart is yours, believe me. I'll stand by you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I wanna be the one to make your day. Take care of you, make sure you're okay. I'll stand by you. I'm gonna stand by you. I'm gonna stand by you. Good or bad, happy or sad, I'm gonna stand by you.
The thickest makeup can fancy dressed up. Could not hide the scars inside.
This is Hezron.
Your sweet
The track is called Young Girl.
eyes could not disguise the hurt you feel inside. Young girl, young girl, young girl, young girl. Said I don't wanna see you crying in the rain. Young girl, young girl, young girl. This world can get so crazy out there. One would say because you're so beautiful, you got it easy. But if they only knew the half of the story, one would think your life must be so sunny and bright. Because your heart's so well, the clouds behind. Young girl, young girl, young girl. Said I don't wanna see you crying in the rain. No, young girl, young girl, young girl. This world can get so crazy out there. Well, I see a day to come, and this is much better than tomorrow. My sister, just keep the faith, no matter what the critics say. Hey, just remember to you I don't wanna see you crying in the rain. They don't know your pain. They just don't know. Oh, this world is so
See that? From the first time that I laid my eyes, you got me wondering what a feeling so revealing. You got me thinking,
This is the maestro,
how could this be?
Mr. Benji Myers.
Sharing our lives,
Track called Hooked on You.
even through the stormy weather. You You got me hooked on you. I don't know what I'm gonna do without your love. Oh yes, I mean it. You got me hooked on you. I don't know what I'm gonna do without your love. Oh yes, I mean it. We now and forever we'll stay together, even through the fire. I hope you can see just what you mean to me. This is how our love should be. And I know that we've got places to go. So I know that our love can grow. I know that you know what I'm trying to say. So baby, how do you wanna end today? You got me hooked on you. I don't know what I'm gonna do without you. Oh yes, I mean it, baby. You got me hooked on you. I don't know what I'm gonna do without you. Oh yes, I mean it. Ooh-wee. From the first time that I laid my eyes, you got me wondering what a feeling so revealing. You've got me thinking, how could this be? You and me, sharing our lives together, even through the stormy weather. Ooh, now I know that we've got places to go. So I know that our love can grow. I know that you know what I'm trying to say. So baby, how do you wanna end today? You got me hooked on you. I don't know what I'm gonna do without your love. Oh yes, I mean it. You got me hooked on you. I don't know what I'm gonna do without your love. Oh yes, I mean it. You got me hooked on you.
This is the sound of Yishka. His rendition of My.
Heels and some of that sweet perfume. It sure smells good on you. Slide on your lipstick. Baby, you wear the crown. 'Cause when you get through, I wanna show off you. Tonight will be a special night of many more to come. Baby, I'm so proud to be with you. I just wanna let you know you got me saying my. You sure look good tonight, and you're so damn fine. You got me saying my. You sure look good tonight. After all this time, slip on your mind now. Step in my bedroom. First I wanna take some time. I just wanna look at you. Girl, you are so fine. I can't believe my eyes. You know what I wanna do. I wanna make love to you. Tonight will be a special night of many more to come. Baby, I'm so proud to be with you. So proud to share your love. You sure look good tonight, and you're so damn fine. You got me saying my. You sure look good tonight. After all this time.
Listen to Yishka. Vocal. musically talented and gifted on the woodwind. Yeah, that's Ishkan Sax.
There are anomalies that happen, oh baby, every once upon a time. Like the
Here is someone else that's pretty talented.
oh, that special night, your pretty eyes made mine. The world will never see.
Just as gifted as a singer, as a broadcaster.
We're from totally different worlds.
This is G. Cole.
Oh yeah. But if only
Title called Imperfect People.
they would understand how much I love you, girl. Sometimes there's no rhyme or reason, no special sign from above, no special sign from above. We're just two imperfect people, yes, who fell perfectly in love. Never, 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 never will I break your heart. I won't ever cause you pain. Now, baby, let's just be those two links, baby, that will form that perfect shape. Yeah. I'm not your daddy's favorite. Nah, baby, and your mom's no fan of mine. Oh, oh. Let's just do our thing and show the world our love can stand the test of time. Whoa, sometimes there's no rhyme or reason, no special sign from above, no special sign.
G. Cole, the host of Homegrown with G. Cole.
Imperfect people.
Track called Imperfect People. You can catch G. Cole on social media. Homegrown with G. Cole. Check it out. You're guaranteed to not be disappointed. Also tomorrow you do want to look out for Melissa Jane. The Melissa Jane Show. Check out DP on Lifestyles. You can catch Clinton Lindsay on the Foundation Radio Network, clintonlindsay.com, midday till 3. Donnie Walker from 6 a.m. till 10. These are all Eastern time. Donnie Walker on the WGLRO.com. Let me give you one more G code. And this one he's working out with Sheila Dow. Called When Girl Meets Boy.
It's just a different point of view. I wanna be alone with you.
the sound of Wild Tree. I haven't played this one in a minute.
I know this is just a custom.
It's called If I Didn't Know Any Better. Their rendition of this song. Working out with Annette Brissett in this one.
I've been falling deeper and deeper, it's true. I hear it calling. If I didn't know any better, and I'd be in love with you. Didn't want to look in the eyes of the one that I would be drawn to. I'm a moth lost in a fire. I know this is just a beautiful illusion, a case of the confusion between love and desire. Your heart is pulling. If I didn't know any better, I'd be falling deeper and deeper, it's true. I hear it calling. If I didn't know any better, and I'd be in love when you burn down and settle down, and you forget I ever came around.
Coming up to this part now, after this interlude, you hear Annette Brissett just belts out. Listen for it. Yeah, you hear it?
If I didn't know any better, I'd be falling deeper and deeper, it's true. I hear it calling. If I didn't know any better, I'd be in love with you. Your heart is pulling. Your heart is pulling. I'm in love. If I didn't know any better, I'd be falling deeper and deeper, it's true. I hear it calling.
For those who said they didn't really hear Annette, here we go.
My everything, my everything now, baby.
This woman is so amazing. Every instrument that you hear in this song,
Do it in my arms,
she can play.
oh, then make you mine.
Seeing this woman play drums,
When you're with me,
that is a treat.
you are
She only stands about 4 feet 8, somewhere around there.
You fill my day with joy and laughter. What more can I need? For you,
But she's short of nothing.
my everything, everything to me. Yes, you are. You are. My everything, my everything. These arms were made for hugging, baby, and you fit right in. Come winter, summer, autumn, spring, you're my kind of man. You are everything to me a girl would ever need. You fill my day with joy and laughter. What more can I need? You are, yes, you are my everything, my everything, everything, baby. You are, yes, you are my everything, my everything, my everything.
You know, I get so caught up in this musical therapy, I forgot to check the time. And this is my time. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for sharing both the broadcast and your views. We do it all again on Monday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Right here, kevinstew.com. And I want to thank you. And remind you, look out for members of your community. And your community is not just development that you live in, but it spreads far and wide. Those that you pass on the bus, on the plane, on the boat, on the train, these are members of your community. Do something good for one of them today, because you never know who's going to do something good for you tomorrow. My name is DJ Kevin Stew. This is how I like to do it to you, for you, and with you every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 10 to midnight, right here, kevinstew.com. Encouraging you to be good. But if you can't be good, just go all out and be good at it, yeah?
You're my sugar in my bowl, my everything, baby. You're my sun on my roof. You're my love when I need you.
Take care until we meet again. I'm out of here. Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world. From right here in South Florida, I bid you good night. Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.